Hey there, how are you? I'm Jess Fabian and I'm a team leader with Flying Flamingos, and also I run Magic Cooking Pot Facebook page as well. Welcome to your stock making session with your new Thermomix. How exciting. You have your new TM6. I'm assuming you have unboxed your Thermomix out of the box, turned it on and let it do its updates. Now, if you haven't done that, please stop this video for now and do your unboxing. Now, you should have an unboxing video or contact your consultant and they can help you with that as well. Now, I'd love to help you get the most out of your Thermomix. Now, if you haven't already let your consultant or myself, if I'm your consultant, know, I would love to hear what you're most wanting to get out of your Thermomix, and also any dietary requirements that you have, so we can help you to the best of our ability. So we want to help you with your Thermomix journey. So please be in contact with your consultant at any point where you need help with recipe suggestions. You might need some inspiration, help with meal planning. You might need help with adjusting a recipe. Maybe it wasn't quite to the taste or texture of your liking. Contact your consultant. We can give little tweaks because we've been using our Thermomix for a lot longer, and we can give you some tips on how to tweak recipes for yourself. You've got the tool here. The recipes are a guide and we are the creators. So if something's not quite right, we just need to tweak it to our liking. So please be in contact with your consultant if you need help. Now, you should have the ingredients ready for vegetable stock paste. Now, if you haven't got those yet, you can go to Cookie Dough, type in vegetable stock paste, and grab those ingredients, press pause and come back later when you've got those ready. Now, I will show you how to chop them up as well and what sizes. First of all, we're just going to run through how to use your Thermomix manually, so that you can use it manually if you want to. After that, we'll be using guided recipes to make the vegetable stock paste. So we'll cover some of those things. We'll also cover how to clean your Thermomix and also how to get some more bits and pieces at a discounted price for your Thermomix journey. Alrighty, let's swap cameras. I'm hoping that this works. Replace pin. Now, hopefully you can see my other screen. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's come up closer. So you've got your Thermomix. There we go. And this is the screen you will see when you first turn your Thermomix on. You can see you have the time. You can tap the dial. When it's enlarged, then the selector dial on the side here will change those temperatures for you. Same with the time. Time goes all the way up to 99 minutes there. Got our temperatures and we've got our speed here. This is the speed of the blades, and as soon as you turn your selector dial, that will set going whatever you've programmed in. Now, this little blade icon, if you tap that, you've got reverse happening now. And that's going to mean you can protect any textured foods that you don't want harmed by the blades. So the blunt side of the blade will be stirring then. So this is essentially how we cook manually. Now, if you want to clear these, we just tap on them and hold your finger on it and it will clear back to 0. Now, we'll get rid of reverse. Over here, you'll find your modes page, and this is where you will manually find your scales. They will always come up in recipes as well, these modes. Actually, this point in time, let's take your measuring cup off. Let's clear it back to 0, tear it back to 0. Make sure nothing's touching your Thermomix, and let's put your measuring cup on. And it should weigh about between 80 and 85. Now, mine's 86, which is very interesting. I'm thinking maybe my cord has got a little bit of pressure on it behind. So if your cord is touching something behind, it could even affect. So I'm just going to check again. 86 again. Let's move back. And I'm just going to move my Thermi into the position it normally is. There we go. Make sure nothing's under my feet. clear my feet. This is good learning for you guys. Now, let's have a look. Let's clear it again. Yeah, 84, that'll do. So often mine's about 82, 83. So just double check nothing's under your feet or anything like that. And the cord's not pushing against the back of your wall, things like that. That's checking your scales. Now, to protect your scales, as you would have seen in the 7 Golden Rules YouTube video, if you haven't watched it, please watch that one before you use your Thermomix. And you can find that in the comments below here, or ask your consultant if you're in my Flying Flamingos team. If they are, they will have access to it. So in that video, I talk about how we need to look after our scales and our blades mainly. So when you are moving your Thermomix, you want to hold the handle and lift it like this. You don't want to slide it around because you could end up damaging your scales. So we're going to look after our scales that way. There we go. So that part's done. Let's get rid of the scales and we'll continue on. We have all the other modes. We will look at those in more detail while our stock's cooking. But just so you're aware, we've got modes and room for new modes as well. So this continues to increase, and we recently got our peeler mode. Your modes might be in a different position to mine. You can change them with these 3 dots up here. You can edit the view and move them around depending on which ones you use the most. One of my favorites is the pre-clean mode. Be sure to check that one out, and we will talk about that when we talk about cleaning. But what we're going to do is get the veggie stock going first. So I'm going to press home to get out of those modes, and we want to look over at Cookie Dough. If you haven't signed up to cookiedough.com.au yet, please pause your this video and set yourself up an account, and then you'll be able to hook up Cookie Dough to your Thermomix and get your 6 months free subscription. Now, those that already have, you probably should already have by this stage, you will know that Cookie Dough looks exactly the same on your phone app and your computer app as it does here on the TM6 screen, which is very exciting. Let's press search, and we're going to search up veggie stock paste or vegetable stock paste, but I can actually see that it's sitting up here right up the top anyway. So we don't have to search it. Let's just tap on it now and we can get started. So I'll keep the screen up close here for a little while, then we'll zoom back so you can see more. But basically, when you look at a recipe, you can see the ingredients on the left-hand side and the prep steps on the right here. Now, at any point, you can actually tap on a paragraph from this first page and it will take you to that part of the recipe. So that's a good way to skip parts of certain recipes you might not want to do the entire recipe of. But let's just hit start cooking, and you will see it's brought up our scales and asking for celery. So let's get started. I'm going to move back and we can do it together. So let's just change the view. There we go. Hopefully that's changed on the recording as well. So it's asking for celery, and so it's going to, I'm just going to tear it because I've just taken my lid off. And I've chopped up some celery. You want to chop up your celery about that long. You want anything to be able to fit through the hole in the measuring cup, the hole in the lid. So that's going to be fine for celery. Let's whackle that in, and it's fine if you go a bit over. So I just guessed that, and that's just a bit over 200. That's fine. And then some carrots. That's right. I was going to do the carrots with you guys to show you you can use up all your wonky veggies. So we've got some funny carrots that have arrived. I've just scrubbed them with like a potato scrubber, and I'm going to put all these weird and wonky carrots in. So what you want to do is just cut, especially carrots. We don't want them too big, so we definitely want them to fit through the hole. So take that measuring cup out. We want it to fit through the hole, and we don't really want it any bigger than that if it's anything frozen or hard. So I'm going to pop those in, and I've scrubbed them just a little while ago. They've gone a bit darker now, some of those. Okay, so it's great to use up anything that needs using up, or things that the kids won't really want to eat. Steamed, you can just chuck them in here. You can also freeze things. So if you've got some wonky celery, just freeze it. Now I've just peeled and halved an onion, pop that in. If your onion was any bigger, you would want to quarter it. So this one's a pretty small onion, that's all good. And tomato, I've just halved that one as well. And zucchini, just sort of chopped it roughly as well, pop that in. And 2 beautiful cloves of garlic. And a bay leaf. Whoops, I didn't get that one. Let's grab the bay leaf. So now that you've got a Thermomix, you'll probably use a lot more herbs than you used to in the past. So, yeah, a lot of people ask which type of herbs should they grow, and I'd probably suggest, well, all the ones in this stock would be good. Parsley is a good one to start with. Rosemary. Well, there's sage and basil, but basil's not all year round, and coriander isn't either, but they're the top ones. Start with parsley. Now I'm just going to pull off the leaves and flowers of this beautiful basil. So if you've just got a couple of sprigs, that's fine. I'm actually putting in a bit more than I normally would, just because I had some to use up. There we go. What else? Fresh sage. So luckily our sage is growing well. We want about, I don't know, 5 or 6 leaves. I'm going to pop that in. Now, if you don't have basil, it's out of season, or you don't have sage, that's fine. You can use dried ones or just omit it as well. As long as you've got that celery and you've got parsley, then that will be great, and rosemary. So this, we've got some rosemary. I'm just going to, you just pull it off of your stalk. We don't want the wood bit in there, so let's pull that off. And these bits as well. And you can freeze your herbs in their prime as well, ready for making some stock. The soft little bits, they can go in, but the harder bits we're going to pull off the stalk. And these herbs really give it a beautiful flavour. Your house is going to smell amazing. Now this veggie stock, you'll use this in soups and all kinds of things to flavour it instead of a stock cube. So you can scroll down and read the tips. I'll show you how to do that in a moment to find out more about your stock. Now, that's our rosemary and some parsley. So our parsley has gone to seed. Well, it's racing to go to seed, but we did find some. So what I find, if you're going to buy it, it's going to be maybe like a quarter of a bunch. So I put in a fair bit. You can get rid of some of the stalks if you want. Some people say they are a little bit bitter. I normally keep most of the stalks, but this one had long ones. And you can cut them or just rip them into, I don't know, 4 or 5 centimetre pieces. And this one I'm going to cut in half as well. There we go. Now you can see it's getting quite full, and you would have seen in the 7 golden rules video that you don't want to overfill your Thermomix past the max line. So the only exception is when you're making stock, because we're going to chop that right down. So you don't want to go over your max line when with liquids like curries and risottos and things like that. But let's keep going. It's asking for the measuring cup. So if you have been putting it all through the lid, then you'll just put your measuring cup. Yes, this is a measuring cup, 100 mils or 50 mils. Put your measuring cup in. If you haven't got your lid on, then you just put the whole lid on at this point. Alrighty. So we're going to chop up. So when you're chopping, you want to turn your dial quite rapidly. You want those knives, the blade knives, going really fast. You don't want a bit of carrot kind of getting on a blade and then going round and round. So chopping, we're going to turn it up quite rapidly. Pureeing hot foods slowly, and we'll go through that at the end of this. So let's go, but because there's so much parsley and celery in there, I'm just going to tap on the time, and I'm going to then use the selector dial. Once the time dial is enlarged, I'm going to change it to 15 seconds just to give it a bit of a chance to get all that sucked down the vortex and pureed and chopped. Tapping back on the speed one, and now I'm going to put it up to speed 6. Now, I must have used really big veggies. Probably those carrots were big too. And it probably needs another little bit. You might have noticed I've taken the measuring cup off and put this in to give it a little stir. This is the only thing you can put in your Thermomix while it's going. This is the spatula that comes with your Thermomix. It's got that disc there. It's going to prevent it from getting anywhere near your blades. So that's the only thing you should put in there. Now, I need to redo that. And you may need to as well. Let's redo it. So I'm just going to press back and give that another blitz. Perfect. I'm sure that's done now. We'll take a look, hey? Alrighty, let's have a look. Nice and chopped. So depending on how big your carrots are and how much greenery you put in will determine the colour of your stock at the end. So we'll see, because it's looking quite orange today. Oh, and it's smelling amazing with all those beautiful fresh things. We often get the question, do you add liquid at this point? No, we don't. It's simply the liquid from the veggies, and then we're going to cook it down. Now my salt isn't opening. I'm going to just pause you guys and open it. All right, I've got it open. Now, any salt will do. You can use sea salt. This is Celtic sea salt. You could use Himalayan salt, whatever salt is your favourite. And it asks for 150. Now, this is a preservative. If you really wanted to, you could change it to 120 if you want. Yep, or 150 is going to preserve it for a good 5 months or so. So that is our preserver. If you omit salt or go lower than about 100, you can keep it in the freezer instead. Putting this one in the freezer, it won't freeze because of all the salt. And we'll be using just 1 tablespoon of this entire mixture for a meal. So I'm just going to glug in about a tablespoon. You can measure it in with a tablespoon if you wish. And then we're going to pop our lid on, as it says, and we're just going to turn it on speed 1. It's got 20 minutes in the clock here, and then it's got 120 degrees, speed 1. So we'll cover a few things while this is going, and then I'll pause the recording so you don't have to watch the whole 20 minutes if we get through everything. There's usually a lot to talk about at this point, right? So hopefully you've got your stock going as well. We're going to grab a jar. So I don't know, a jar about this size would be good. I haven't got my jar ready yet. I'll have to pause again. But yeah, with the normal lid's fine. This one will be okay as well. So it's going to make a fairly decent amount, or you could have a few different jars as well. So let's talk about the other things you need to know. You've got your steamer basket. Now you would have seen in the safety features when you first turned on your Thermomix, it did go through some safety things. if you haven't, if you didn't turn yours on and you need to see it again, you can actually, now I'm going to press the home button and jump out. In your settings, let's look at settings. And let's see, how do we find it? I should know this. Factory. I reckon it might be in help. It might be in the bottom one, help. Should be there. Yes, safety instructions and instruction manual is in there. So you can always tap on safety instructions and go through those again. One of them is saying don't overfill your Thermomix past the max line, and also your steamer basket past the max line. We don't want it bulging up. We want to, this is actually going to stop food from rising and blocking a hole in the top. So we want to let all the steam get out. We never want to cover our Thermomix with a tea towel or buy other attachments and use them with the Thermomix, because these are specially made to let the steam out and not trap it in the bowl. So that's one of the first ones. Now, you might not have realized that your spatula has a little hook on it, and that hook helps you to get your basket out. Imagine it's in there. Helps you to get it out, and if it was hot. So this basket's great for rice, mashed potato, boiled eggs. They're the top three that I use mine for. And once they've cooked in there, obviously it's hot. Use your spatula as a handle to get it out, and then you'll be able to get the contents out. Beautiful rice maker. So, and you can also cook your veggies on top in your Varoma at the same time. Now, we'll learn more about the Varoma when you have your cooking session with myself, if I'm your consultant, or your consultant, if you have a different consultant. We would love to cook with you and teach you more. Great opportunity to learn more about your Varoma, which I'll grab mine out in a sec. And also great opportunity to grab a host reward. Now, you might have seen or heard about our thermo servers. This is a 2.6 litre thermo server, and when you've cooked your beautiful dinners, curries, risottos, and pasta dishes, whatever, they're going to be cooked beautifully in a Thermomix. Bit harder to serve it out of Thermomix. It's nicer to pour it into a thermo server, which is going to keep your food piping hot for 2 hours if that's a full one. It's so handy. Everyone needs a thermo server or 3, and you can get them by inviting people to a virtual session like this. You could maybe something like this, or cook one of our cooking classes. We have them virtually every month, and they're about an hour. So just by inviting 2 people along to have a look at the Thermomix, you can get hold of one of these just for $30, just for them coming along and watching. If one of them wants to start their own TM6 journey, you get this for free. That's one of the options, and one of the most popular ones to start with. We have different shaped ones as well, like an oval one, and it's just beautiful. You can also put your frozen foods in there too. Keeps it frozen ice creams and fresh fruit ice creams frozen for a good hour or more. You can also grab, as a different host reward, a Thermomat. Now, my other one, the newer one, is holding some other dough at the moment. The newer one is much whiter, stays whiter, and it's got circles on it as well, so it's just great for rolling out pastry. The Thermomat holds your dough and proves it. It's amazing. So good for doughs, gingerbreads, biscuits, all kinds of things. But make sure you don't cut with a sharp knife on your Thermomat, and roll it up like I am to store it. Don't fold it. You can cut with a spatula on these, or something like this from the mix shop as well, but not knives, because that's your Thermomat will not be usable. These 2 are host rewards, and like I said, you can have an in-person session with your consultant, invite 2 or 3 friends over, cook up 3 dishes, and have a great time. Get hold of your host rewards, plus a 20% off voucher for the mix shop. Our mix shop's amazing. If you haven't checked it out yet, head over to thermomix.com.au and click on the shop. There are so many awesome things, and we only choose the best items. So, so good. So you can get a 20% off voucher just by cooking with your consultant. You're going to learn more tips and tricks as well. Ask any questions that you've got since you've taken ownership of your Thermomix, and have a great time. But you're also going to get to introduce your friends to the world of Thermomix as well. So it's win-win for everyone. So please book in with your consultant there. And we can't wait to cook some more things with you. Maybe even use your stock that you've made. So I'm going to show you some close-ups of the screen now to give you a little bit of a guide, and we will look at cookie dough as well. So let me see, let's change this one over. Hopefully this is changing on the recording as well. So as you can see, I've got a little green, little green bookmark here. That's because I was looking around and I had navigated out of the recipe, which you can do by pressing the home button, and that will pop it up in the background, and that's how you will then go and do other things. So as I was saying, up in the menu there in help, that's where your safety instructions were if you need to go over those again. Now let's have a look. How much have you guys looked at cookie dough so far? I've just pressed on the magnifying glass and it's bringing up my cookie dough. I've got 9,216 recipes in my cookie dough. Now, if you've only got about 900, that means you're just on Australia. So you can go to your app and go into your profile and update your filter preferences. Ask your consultant if you need help with that. And otherwise, I think I've got a video on that. Just shout out if you want to see it. But that way you can select the country and languages you want. I've got all of English across the platform. So I've got just over 9,000. Now, so while it's cooking, we can actually search for recipes and start to get ingredients and things out while we're cooking. So for instance, what's something we've got to use up? I've got some celery. I'm going to type celery. Before it goes off, I'm going to, you could freeze it obviously for the next batch. I'm going to hit search with celery. You could type in anything, anything you want. So you could type in chicken, or if you've got some sour cream to use up, type it in. Or if there's a meal that you want to make, you could type it in. Now, so I've got celery in there now. I could scroll through all 485 results, or I could narrow down further with our filters. So for instance, I would like to make a main dish. I'm going to open up the categories. And of course you can do this on your phone or computer or iPad. It's probably going to be more comfortable. I would like to look at main dish vegetarian. And I can see over this side, there's 71 results. Maybe I'll bring up meat as well. Pasta and rice sounds interesting for a celery. We'll add that as well. So it's automatically narrowed down already. And then I'm going to scroll down further. And I want to, for me, I love doing the less than 15-minute prep ones. And I want mine ready in less than 45. So it's going to get rid of all the 2 and 3 hour ones and all that kind of thing. You could then select on the 4 and 5 star ones. So only show those ones. And then we're good to go. So we've narrowed down from 9,000 recipes down to 41. And now I get to see things that I actually want to make. So celery and cashew nuts, that sounds good. That sounds like a Chinese dish. You can have a little look at it. Looks really simple. Look, it says 5 minutes prep, 20 minutes total. Sounds good to me. Could give that a go. Why not? If you've got heaps of celery to use up. And we've got black bean tomato soup with coriander. Sounds nice. Kung Pao cauliflower. Ooh, that looks pretty good. So if you see, and there's jackfruit and bean, chili. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing ones that I even haven't seen before. So let's tap on, let's go a little bit Oh, there's all really good ones. I'm actually really impressed with this search. I found some really nice ones. Some of them I do recognise, like this vegetarian chili. But let's go back up to the kung pao cauliflower. I remember that one was yummy. Now, you can notice the 3 dots on the side of your recipe. You can tap on that and you can bookmark it from here, add to cook today or add to shopping list. So from your app, you'll also be able to add it to your calendar and different collections. So let's hit cook today, or you could hit bookmark. Now let's go a little bit further, and that jackfruit one looks really good too. So you could get your ingredients ready. You can bring your scales up while it's cooking, but I would probably be very careful if it's already at this steaming stage. You can. I'm gonna add that one to my bookmarks and also to my shopping list. There we go. That's looking great. I might even add it into the calendar. I'll hit cook today and show you about that. Now, pressing home. So that was a look at some of those. To find your recipes, you can go into my week or into my recipes and look at your folders. Now, I'm going to be cooking with somebody later today, these beautiful Christmassy items. And then later tonight, I'm going to be doing those 3. So I'm going to be busy today. And there you can see the kung pao cauliflower chicken and my jackfruit. Just so you know, this is a bit of an advanced tip, not a beginner's tip, but you may as well find out now. You can actually, from the calendar, you can actually add to your collection or move to another day from there. I found this is the only spot on the TM6 you can do that, but from your app you can do it from any recipe from any place. So that's exciting. Those 2 look delicious, and I have added the jackfruit. Let's add the cauliflower to my list as well. There we go. So, but let's go back. So that's a little bit of a play with Cookie Do. If you'd like to see more, we have Cookie Do info sessions at least once a month, and you can ask your consultant for a personalised one as well. Let's go back and have a look at what's happening with our veggie stock. We've got 6 minutes left. Just bearing in mind, you can always tap on a recipe and you can actually change it. So you could change the time if you think your dish needed a little bit extra. You might have increased the recipe and you might need, to cook it another few minutes. You can change it. As I said, this is just a guide. You're not locked into it. You can change the temperature as well. I have noticed some people will change it to Varoma, and you could technically steam your jars in the Varoma to give them a bit of a steam clean if you wanted to. But what I would like to point out to you are the 3 dots here. So you can see those. Let's tap on that. That's where you access your scales while you're cooking. So you could put something on if it wasn't steaming and bubbling. So I wouldn't do it at this point, just for safety reasons, but you could definitely do it at the very beginning. And from those 3 dots, you'll also see recipe detail. And that means you can go look at the full recipe while you're cooking. So this is super handy if, imagine you were just sauteing your onions and garlic right at the beginning and you wanted to see what was coming up. You could actually just grab the things out as well. Similarly, you can jump to different places in the recipe from this first page as well. We just need to press continue to get back to our actual recipe. We've got 4 minutes left. Let's cover a couple more things. But if you would like more help with Cookie Do, please let me know, or your consultant know, because we could talk about Cookie Do for hours. We love Cookie Do. If you need any recipe inspiration, let us know as well. But definitely use those filters and set your default filter as well to the countries and languages that you want. I love the UK and I do have America, the US online as well. bearing in mind your shopping list will have ounces with the US, but they have some really interesting recipes too. My favourites would be Australia and the UK, and I don't have any other languages on mine, but if you speak another language, go and select that, add that to your cookie dough as well. So just another mention of some of the other safety things you want to keep in mind. Remember to stay near your Thermomix when you're kneading dough, especially if it's longer than a 2-minute knead, because you don't want your Thermomix to start dancing and potentially jump off your bench. So keep an eye on it, stay in the kitchen while you're doing kneading. Our butterfly, maximum speed 4, you can remember that speed because there's 4 wings and it's written on your butterfly as well. So this is for whipping, and the blades are always in. This will go on top of your blades, and it will prompt you to if you're in a guided recipe. And it's great for whipping cream and whipping cream into butter. It's great for whipping up frozen fruit. So you blitz the frozen fruit first till it's nice and creamy, then you whip it up and you'll be amazed at how it looks. So maybe try the Fruity Dream with your consultant when you do your cooking experience with them, because it's just amazing. I love it with berries, but pretty much any frozen fruit. Fruit that's going a bit wonky in your fruit bowl, chop it up into pieces, not too big, and freeze it. And you'll have the best frozen ice cream in minutes once it's frozen. This one, as I said, on top of the blades, always keep your blades in there, and then you'll be right. If the blades are not in after washing, you could flood your machine. So always only ever put this back when the blades are in. We've talked about that one. Try your boiled eggs and your rice and your mashed potato in there. Amazing. This one's just splash guard, and that you'll be prompted when to put that on top. We will remove the measuring cup, and this goes on, and that's for high heat frying, basically, so that oil doesn't jump out. I'm going to grab the Varoma. So just a moment. There we go. There's our Varoma, and that one has a couple of layers, so you could, technically, we could be steaming something now. Look at that steam. And you could change it up to Varoma. This is your steamer. It's got holes here, so you might be steaming pasta sauce or a soup or something, and you'll cook veggies, meats, and even cakes and things. So talk to your consultant to find out more about that one. That will be covered in your advanced session, which can be covered at your cooking experience. But lovely way to bulk up your meals and things like that as well. And make sure you only touch your Thermomix by the handle. So open this one away from you, so that, because its steam is very hot. Might grab the other thermo servers out so you can have a little look at those. I just wanted to show you the white one. This is perfect for summer, and it's great for your frozen ice creams and things like that. A clear lid looks beautiful with an ice cream in there. It's a little bit smaller, so it actually does fit in your Varoma for if you were wanting to make like a pot set yogurt in the Varoma, in the Thermo server. So there's a recipe for that in the guided recipe, and that's how it goes. So that is a good one to grab as a host reward, just like the silver one. Okay, that part is done. Let's blitz our stock next. So when you're blitzing hot foods, you want to be super careful. We're not going to touch the top at all. We can make sure the lid's on. I'm going to press next. It says keep the lid on, and we're going to puree that for a minute. So we're going to slowly go up to speed 5. Remember when we chopped, we turned it really fast. We're going to do it slowly now, and then up to speed 9. It is going to sound a bit like a helicopter. So just don't touch it while it's going, and just let it do its thing. So let's do it up to speed 5. Oops, there we go. I did that a little bit fast. So up to speed 5. And you can hear now it's at speed 5, and it didn't go immediately up to 5 because it could tell it's hot. The red lights go red from green to red after 60 degrees. And now we're going to slowly do it up to 9 now. Alrighty, so that's finished its pureeing now. We're just going to take the lid off carefully because that's going to be hot. And then you've got all your beautiful stock inside there. So yours will be more orange if you've got more carrots, or more green if you put more of your herbs in. And then what we're going to do, remember, we're going to use our spatula only clockwise. So we want to stay away from the sharp side of the blade. Each blade is blunt on one side, sharp on the other, and they never need sharpening because they work from speed and shape of the blade. So you don't need to take them to your tool shed and sharpen them ever. So to look after your blades, we'll talk about that in a moment, about sizes and maximums. But let's get out your stock now. So remember, clockwise when you're using your spatula, and I'll take the measuring cup out. You can sometimes use this as a bit of a funnel if it fits. So let's see if one of the other ones fits. Let's have a look. Sometimes they sit really nicely. This one's not going to on these jars. Let's try this jar so I can demonstrate it for you. Got a few different jars here. Yeah, that one sits. So sometimes it sits that way, other times it will sit nicely. Oh, this one sits nicely both ways. So let's do that, and I'm going to pull the camera down a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Let's have a look. Okay. And we're going to, when you get your bowl out of the Thermomix, you're going to hold it here, but we want to hold it down here when we're pouring. So I'll try and see if I can pour so you can see. Sorry, I might have to turn my arm to you guys. So we're just going to pour as much as you can in. Mine's quite thick, I think, from all those carrots I put in this time. Wanted to use up all those wonky ones. That's the first one there. Actually, I think I can fit a little bit more in. I'll shake. There we go. It will be hot, so be careful. I usually let it sit for a bit and then I pop the lid on. You can pop the lid on straight away if you want to create a little bit of a seal. I'll let them cool down and then pop it into the fridge. That will last about 5 to 6 months, pretty much, with all that salt, using a clean spoon every time you get it out. And in that full view of the recipe, right down the bottom are the tips. So scroll down and have a look at the tips as well if you'd like to see further info. But basically, the recipe will ask for 1 tablespoon of this with about 500 ml of water. So go, and then one more jar. And so we're going to get all of your goodies out by using this clockwise, scrape it around, and let's get that last bit out. Now the spatula fits your bowl perfectly. So it might feel a little bit odd at the beginning, especially with the little disc there, but persevere because it fits perfectly and it's a really useful tool. The end of the spatula is a little bit flexible, which makes it really easy to get things out of your bowl. And I find that this side, the diagonal side of your spatula, goes perfectly against the edge of your bowl, like that. So we'll do that one around the edge. And then the straight part of your spatula goes perfectly against the blades in the middle. So we'll get that middle rung there. And scrape a little bit off the blades. There we go. So I've just scraped around the blades. And then if this was a dip or a cake batter or muffins and things like that, I would put it back on the Thermomix. We would tap home to get out of the recipe, put your lid on properly. Then we can manually just put it up to speed 9 and flick all that off the blades. It's going to do it slowly right now because it can tell that it's a hot mixture. It's doing it slowly for us for safety. But I'll just show you what I mean. So I normally don't do it with stock. I can hear that's up high now. So I'll just stop that. But imagine you've got a cake mixture or something. You're trying to get all the mixture out. You can see it on the blades. You can't quite get it out. That's what you're going to do. And you can see it's now not on the blades. Instead, there's some around the edge of the bowl. And you can then scrape the edge of the bowl and you'll get another teaspoon or tablespoon of your cake mixture, in this case, stock. I then wipe it on the edge of my rim of my bowl like that, and then it will fall out. That way you're not having to wipe it on your jar or your dip bowl or something. So that's the technique I use. And for washing, let's talk about washing up. Now I've got my beautiful stock, and I'll pop the lids on. There we go. All good to go. So keep your jars ready for the beautiful condiments you're about to make with your Thermomix. Now to clean that, it's going to be super duper quick with just your brush. So if you haven't already got a brush, you can jump onto the mix shop. Maybe when you get your 20% off voucher, have a little browse. But the brush is going to clean this in about 10 seconds because stock is not very dirty. I've got a pink one because my team is the Flying Flamingos and we're little flamingos with the pink. But there's often the green ones. There's also charcoal and blue ones. You can also get a blade brush, Thermomix blade brush, or this one I think is still in stock as well. This one's my favourite. You can also, I'd probably recommend getting yourself one of these. It's soft here and rougher here. This bit will clean in your arms pretty well. This bit is if you have little helpers that spill flour and cocoa powder on your Thermomix, you can use that to clean it. So that one's good. These brushes here, and the last one you want is the scrubby. So that one is an eco scrubby, I think they're called, and that will be great for if you've done something that has a little bit of browning on the bottom of your bowl. Often with the high heat ones is where you might see some browning occasionally, and that scrubby will make it come off in a few scrubs after the pre-clean. Now remember, over in our modes we've got pre-clean. You will fill your bowl with about 1 litre of water, a little tiny drop of detergent or some vinegar, and you'll just hit pre-clean. So there we go. It's not going to clean up on the lip there because the water doesn't get up there. And then we're just going to select. So I'm going to select universal and we'll let that do its thing. You can always stop that at any time because it's going to get a bit ferocious towards the end. And if you're on a phone call or in a dinner party, you might not actually want it to do the cleaning just then. And so you can actually hit stop. But as I said, normally with stock, I would just do it by hand. I'm actually going to stop that. Oops, I can use a different bowl and show you. I want to show you how to take your bowl apart for actual cleaning at the end of the day. So pop your fingers in the little handy hole there, and put your thumb. So this is my right hand fingers there, thumb on the base here. I'm going to hold my right, that's my left hand, sorry. I don't know if I said it was my right hand. My left hand is in there. My right hand is in the handle on the lower part. And I'm just going to push the the base away from me. And now the blades are actually loose now, so be careful, don't do that upside down. This part doesn't really need cleaning. It just is hard to dry if you do clean it, and the suds might be stuck in there. Let's put that aside. I might stop that, you can see. I'm just going to stop that for now. And then you can take your blades out. Just hold the top of the silver bit like that, and you can give them a good clean. So this one needs a good clean. I think we've done some eggshells in here for the compost. Now, which is a good way to clean your Thermomix too, a deep clean. So to put it back together, once you've given it a little bit of a scrub, we're going to then pop your blades in as best as you can, make them go down, get them in. Now I'm going to keep hold of the silver bit of the blade. I'm going to pop it upside down. And then we're going to keep the handle to yourself at, say, at 6 o'clock. We're going to put the base on at 5 o'clock. So your way, we've got 6 o'clock here, put the base on at 5 o'clock. I'm still holding the blades underneath, and now I'm just going to use like a crab claw hand and bring it back together. It's going to be a bit stiff at the beginning, a bit harder than what it just looked like for me because yours is brand new. But that's good to go. You can also fully immerse this in a sink, and it's also dishwasher safe. But just make sure that these little heat sensors are dry before putting it back into your Thermomix. And always make sure your blades are in before putting it back in as well. Now, I think we've pretty much covered a lot today. There might be something I've forgotten, possibly. Yeah, be in touch with your consultant. And what else was I going to show you? Oh, yeah, the maximums. I did mention I was going to go over that. So remember with the carrot, the maximums, you don't want it any bigger than this. Same with any frozen foods. You don't want it any bigger than that. You want to help look after your blades. So there's a maximum of size of hard things. There's also a maximum of quantity of hard things. So that includes coffee beans, dried chickpeas, rice, nuts, ice. Ice is a little different. We'll cover that one next. But all those other hard things that you're going to mill into a flour, don't go over about 250 to 300 grams. Same with cheese, 250 to 300. And cheese, you want to cut into cubes before you grate. Chocolate, the same. So if it's hard and you're going to mill it into a powder, don't go over 250 to 300 grams. Size was for hard things, not bigger than will fit in there. And also the other maximum is don't go over your max line. With the ice, just briefly, you'll learn that if you do sorbets at your cooking experience. But we don't go over a kilo of ice, and we want to crush up some fruit or have some liquid down on those blades before putting in that kilo of ice. Okay, so that's going to help protect your blades. If it's frozen goods, like in Fruity Dream, we do go up to about 650 grams of frozen fruit without having to have juice by the blades. But just look after your blades by being mindful of the size of cheese, the size of things you put in, and the quantity of those hard things, especially if you're milling them. I think that is it for the maximums, and that might be it for your your delivery experience. If you have any other questions, please ask your consultant. I'm sure they'll love to hear from you. Text or call, or however you have established your communication with them. And for me, I'd love to hear. And please send a photo of your veggie stock to your consultant so they know that you've created it. And you can give chicken stock a go and all the other amazing condiments. And please, we can join our Flying Flamingo Thermo Chat group, and I would love to see pictures of what you're making as well. Enjoy your Thermomix, and take a good look at your manual and also your cookbook. In the back of the cookbook, you will find some things about quantities of how to chop, steam, mill, and all that kind of thing, the manual ones. So they'll be in there. as well as the front of your cookbook, you will find lots of tips and things as well. So have a good look at that, and please reach out whenever you have any questions. Can't wait to see you enjoying your Thermomix, and let us know if you'd like to join our team. And as a consultant, I'm here to support you, and I can tell you more about that, or you can watch one of our upcoming videos about what's in the starter kit when you start as a consultant, because we'd love to have you on board and you could share the thermo passion as well. I think that's it. I'm going to hit pause, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy your stock. So that's 1 tablespoon goes into most of the meals when requested for vegetable stock paste. Have a great day and see you another time.